What is going on, deck builders? I'm your friendly neighborhood host, Alex. Thank you so much for joining me for episode number 11 of Super Budget Commander. If you're a fan of giant angry elf armies and forcing your opponents to discard cards, then this is the deck for you. And as always, a Super Budget Commander deck has a maximum price of $50. Most cards featured in this deck list cost less than $1 each. And don't be fooled by the low price tag. A Super Budget Commander deck has a clear, consistent strategy and is built to win. So without further ado, let's get started. Allow me to introduce you to the Golgari Elf powerhouse, Nath of the Gilt-Leaf. At the beginning of our upkeep, Nath forces one unlucky opponent to discard a card, and every time an opponent discards a card, we get a 1/1 elf token. The goal here is pretty simple. We're going to get Nath onto the battlefield as soon as possible, force our opponents to discard all the cards in their hand, and overwhelm them with an elf army. Fortunately enough, we already have a lot of built-in mana ramp with the Mana Dork Elves. The goal here is to play out a few of these Mana Dorks on turn 1 and 2, that way we can consistently cast Nath by turn 3. We also have a handful of Elves like Sylvan Ranger that are going to help us color fix and make sure that we're never missing the extra black or green mana that we need. And of course, we have a few Mana Rocks that are going to help ramp us out a bit, and spells like Rampant Growth and Cultivate that are going to help us fetch even more lands. And due to the sheer volume of 1/1 creatures we're going to have, Skull Clamp is going to put in some serious work murdering a few of our creatures so we can draw cards. And since we're going to force our opponents to discard cards, we might as well be rewarded for it with cards like Waste Not and Geth's Grimoire. I've also included a few card draw spells like Night's Whisper that are going to make sure we keep our hand full of cards and keep that elf engine running. And seeing as elves don't like to play nice with others, we've brought along some spicy removal spells to take out anything we don't like. Anything that gets in the way of Nath's global takeover plan needs to be terminated with extreme prejudice. If we want to keep a board state full of elves, we need more ways than just Nath to make elf tokens. Constantly flooding the board with new creatures puts enormous pressure on your opponents and forces them to play defensively. That's exactly why I've included cards like Elvish Promenade and Second Harvest. With the right board setup, these cards can be absolutely backbreaking. And we didn't come here to play Group Hug. That's why we have a card like Beastmaster Ascension. And who could forget about the super friendly cards Mind Slash and Sadistic Hypnotist? Both of these cards are discard effects at their finest. Oh boy, as I'm sure you can imagine, these discard spells are not very nice. I mean, spells like Death Cloud, which would be a great name for a heavy metal band by the way, are absolutely evil. Removing our opponent's spells from the game before they've even had a chance to cast them is a fantastic way to control the board. It's also equally important to have more permanent ways of forcing your opponents to discard like Oppression or Bottomless Pit. That way you have the constant stream of elf tokens coming and a constant source of disruption for your opponents. And because Magic is an unpredictable game, it's important to have a card like Library of Lang, where if we have an effect that's forcing us to discard a card that we really like, instead we can put it on top of our library. Now if you want to take this deck to unbelievably oppressive levels and really make your playgroup hate you, a Stax theme is the way to go. The goal behind this strategy is to deny your opponents the ability to do anything by taxing every spell that they play, preventing them from untapping, and just in general making their life miserable. And while your opponents are busy trying to get out from underneath your Stax lock, you're behind the scenes waiting with a Gaia's Cradle or Cabal Coffers to channel into a spell like Torment of Hailfire and one-shot destroy everybody. Next time on Super Budget Commander. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you want more videos just like this one, be sure to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and welcome to the Deck Builders Society. And you know what's up. Stay classy, deck builders. I'll see you next time.